is Nelson bin Katindang. I'm a student of Open University Malaysia in Seremban Learning Center. My matrix number is 9204021259330001 and I'm currently taking a Bachelor of Psychology with honor. In this fine afternoon, I would like to talk about something related with the nature, which is the effect of the flooding on human. And what is nature? Nature can be defined as a physical world and the life which interact with it. It is a total of the ecosystem, animal, bird, plant, landscape and humans. Nature not just include the life but also is the host of the non-living physical entities as well. Nature does not arise spontaneously. Nature took a billion of years to grow and form to shape what we see today. Everything we see around us, right from the moment we step out from our home, is the part of the nature. Nature performs major miracles for us every day, from giving us a great view, helping to prevent flood, to regulating the weather, and keep us supplied with clean water, fresh air and plentiful food. Nature is our life support system. Nature will always be a part of our life. At the moment, the state of the environment leaves much to be desired. Water pollution, exploitation of natural resources, the destruction of many species of flora and fauna, air pollution, violation of the regime of the water bodies, greenhouse effect, acid rain, the formation of ozone hole, melting glaciers, soil pollution, global warming, deforestation. All this lead to the fact that ecosystem change and collapse. What is flood? Flood are natural occurrences where an area or land that is normally dry abruptly becomes submerged in water. In simple terms, flood can be defined as an overflow of large quantities of water onto the normally dry land. Flooding happens in many ways due to the overflow of stream, river, lake or ocean. Whenever flood taking place, there is a possibility of loss of life, hardship of people, and extensive damage to the property. Flooding also destroys crop and wild view trees and other important structures of land. Human health effects are a very serious concern. There are three common types of flood. Number 1. Flash flood. Flash floods are caused by rapid and excessive rainfall that raises water high quickly, and river, stream, channel or road may be overtaken. Number 2. River flood. River floods are caused when consistent rain or snow melt force a fever of exceed capacity and level of water. And number 3. Coastal floods. Coastal floods are caused by streams such as associated with the tropical cyclones. What is causes of flooding? Many conditions result in flooding. Hurricanes, cloud damage, and rainfall are some of the conditions that have led to flooding in various regions across the globe. How are people affected by floods? What are the negative social impacts of the floodings? Flooding affects people in a multitude of ways. Flooding can damage properties, destroy homes, create financial burden, and cause emotional hardship. flooding of the area used of the socio-economic activities produce a variety of the negative impact. The magnitude of adverse impact depends on the vulnerability of the activities and the population intensity and extent of the flooding. There are 4 common effects by flooding on human. Number 1, loss of life and property. Number 2, loss of livelihoods. Number 3, decreased purchasing and production of power. Number 4, mass immigration. Number 5 is psychosocial effect. Let's talk about loss of life and property. Immediate impact of the flooding include loss of human life, damage to the property, destruction of crop, loss of livestock, and non-functioning of the infrastructure facilities. Flash flood with a little or no warning time cause more death and slow rising riverine flows. Flood also damage personal property, such as a vehicle and homes, creating hazardous living conditions if water is not cleaned up immediately. In the other side, financial burden is the one of the biggest effect to the victims. Loss of livelihood. As communication links and infrastructure such as a power of plant, roads, and bridges are damaged and disrupted, economic activity comes to a standstill, resulting in dislocation and the dysfunction of normal life for a period much beyond the duration of the flooding. Similarly, the direct effect of the production asset built in algae culture or industry can inhibit regular activity and lead to loss of the livelihood. The spillover effect of the loss of the livelihood can be felt in a business and commercial activity even in adjacent non-flooded areas. Flood also decrease purchasing and production power. Damage to the infrastructure also cause long-term impact such as disruption to clean water and electricity, transportation, communication, education, and healthy care. Loss of livelihood, reduction in purchasing power, and loss of land value in the flood plain lead to the increased vulnerabilities of communities living in the area. The additional cost of the rehabilitation, relocation of the people, and removal of the property from flood-affected area can divert the capital required of maintaining production. Mass migration. Frequent flooding resulting in the loss of livelihood, production, and other prolonged economic effect and type of the suffering can trigger a mass migration of population displacement. Migration to developed urban area contributes to the overcrowding in the city that are prone of flood or other risks. Selective out immigration of workforce sometimes create complex social problems. Psychosocial effect. The hard psychosocial effect can flood victims and their family can traumatize them for a long period of time. People may affected by flooding may experience a range of the emotion, including anxiety, fear, anger, frustration, sadness, and grief. The loss of loved one can generate deep impact, especially on children. Displacement from one's homes, loss of property and livelihood, and disruption to business and social affairs can cause continuing stress. The stress of the overcoming risk losses can be overwhelming and produce large psychosocial impact. Mental health professionals attend to the psychosocial need for flood victims, ensuring that they can receive timely information. affect people in a multitude of ways. People suffer stress in a multiple front of just as flooding occur, but also in the anticipatory period preceding a flood and during the cleanup and the recovery. Flooding can damage properties, destroy homes, create financial burden, and cause emotional hardship. Therefore, the natural cycle of our ecosystem is very necessary for the survival of the organism. We all must take care of the all components that make our nature complete.